Hi everyone. In this series of videos, I'm going to be trying to improve my big band arranging skills by going through Elliot Deutsch's playlist, Big Band Arranging Secrets Revealed, on his Pandemonium Big Band YouTube channel, and then seeing how I can achieve the best results at each step in MuseScore 4. Elliot has a great energy.
I'm Elliot Deutsch. Good to meet you.
And I'm excited to learn while I experiment in MuseScore. So to start, I watched videos 1 to 4, which are all about closed voicing and using the horns. But to start writing for closed voice horns, I need a chord structure and melody line. So I watched his Writing a Chart Part 1 video to see where to get started. If you want to follow along on this journey with me, feel free to pause and go and watch those videos. They're really excellent. To avoid copyright issues, I decided to write my own chart rather than arrange an existing song. So my apologies to all jazz experts. I'm sure you'll correct me in the comments if I go astray. I decided to use an AABA 32-bar song form, and to get started, I threw some 2-5-1 progressions together. I'm fairly happy with the chord progression, and I can still change it if I don't like it once I'm in MuseScore. So the first thing I'll do in MuseScore is start a new score using Create from Template and Jazz and Big Band, which is handy, very nice to get started quickly. Although I'm not a fan of the font that it uses, but we can change that easily. Let's go to A flat major, since that's the key I chose. I'll keep it in 4/4. I'll change all of those later, and let's call it a Big Band Journey, because I've run out of creativity. It was all used up coming up with those chords. Okay, and here we are in our standard big band chart with our 5 saxes, 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, guitar, piano, bass, and drums. I am going to go into properties and style settings, and just we could change the font in MuseJazz. The Leland is the one that I like. However, if I just reset all styles to default, there we go. We can see that's already changed everything to the nice clean look. I just prefer this look. It's a preference thing. I can easily change it back, I think, to the jazz. Although I'll have to change each, style on its own. Might be nice to have a kind of house style of jazz that we can just apply to whole scores. Maybe that'll come up at some point. I'm also going to go into concert pitch just to make sure that I can stay in one key for myself. And I don't want page view. I want to be in continuous view because that's the easiest way for me to start writing. Okay. And then I'll start writing the chords in the piano part. I'll use Control K to start writing chords. My first one is a B flat minor 7. And to go to the next bar, going to space does the next chord, but I want the next bar, so I'll use Control and Right. Very handy. So what's my next chord? Let's keep this here. It is an E flat 7, Control Right, A flat minus major 7, Control Right, and etc. etc. I'll go through this quickly and just add these in. And I have some chords. So MuseScore is playing these back by default. If we go into the mixer and all the way to the right, the chords.piano, it's playing on the Muse Keys grand piano sound, which I can very easily change if I want to any other, say, keyboard sound. There are plenty to choose from, or even a VST if you have them installed. So from Spitfire, I like to use Labs because it's free and I like free. And I have the Autograph Grand on here. Let's load that up and see how that sounds. That's quite a nice sound. Yeah, I think I'll stick with that for now. We can always go back to the MuseSounds if we need to. Now we probably want these chords playing on guitar as well. Unfortunately, we can't just change it directly to a guitar sound from there because we don't have access to any guitars unless you have them as a VST, which maybe you do. Otherwise, in MS Basic, it will be a piano. However, if I click on the first bar, Control, Shift, and End to select all of that, Control C to copy, and Control V to paste it in guitar. Now we have those chords in guitar as well, and you can see we have a new chords track, which is working with MS Basic. And they're a little tinny, sure, but we can maybe just up the reverb a little and see how that works. Very nice. Together. I'll just bring the guitar down slightly. And of course we'll go and add in guitar rhythms and those kind of things later on. This is just to give us an idea. Okay, so good, we've got some chords. Let's just add in mezzo forte dynamic here as well. Hopefully that'll prevent these chords from being slammed out quite so much. Not sure if that's made much of a difference, but it's okay. There are also plenty of things that we could do later with these chord symbols in the properties. For instance, we can change the interpretation between literal and jazz. Jazz where it drops certain particular notes in a chord, especially more advanced chords, or even adds more advanced things, which could be quite useful later. We've also got voicings, various different options there that we can experiment with, which could be useful for our chords later. And the duration, but we're not too worried about that. Okay, so those can come later. This is just getting us started. In setting up this, I also want it to be a swing piece, good old swing number. So let's add a palettes tempo marking, and we want it to be swing, which goes to the top. Let's get rid of our mixer for now. Now this swing, unfortunately, normally in a tempo marking you can go to properties and edit the BPM or the crotchets per minute, beats per minute. We can't do that with this one, so we'll need to add another tempo marking. Let's use moderato. Let's just add that in there and then call this one moderate swing. And that one I can go and edit. So let's make it 105. 105 BPM, do you think that's okay? Let's turn our metronome on. Yeah, that's a nice moderate swing. And then we can just hide that one, make it invisible with V. V toggles invisibility, and so the performers will just see moderate swing. That's nice. That's a standard thing to write. Okay, back down to the bottom here. This is good. We're getting there. Next, I'll add a walking bass line like Elliot suggests in his Writing a Chart Part 1 video. I'm not going to get fancy right now, just crotchets or eighth notes for our American friends, so that we have some basic accompaniment to go along with the chords. So, here we go. And I've already decided that I need to change some of my chords, just that G minor 7 wasn't working to go to the B flat minor 7. I thought it would, but it wasn't. So let's see about an F7. Maybe that will work better. And hopefully the rest of it sounds okay. Let's see what it sounds like with chords and bass. We've also got this bass playing at the moment on a default. Where's our bass? Is on MS Basic, which is, I think, a bass guitar. It's not a bad sound. I quite like it. Could even be a contrabass. I don't know my basses well enough, clearly. We could also use the MuseSounds strings, Muse strings, contrabasses. Now, here's the trouble. All of the other string instruments have a solo option, but not contrabasses. So this is going to be a section of contrabasses. And it is obviously bowed by default. So we just need to add a text for pits. Where's pits? Thank you. And we'll make that one invisible with V as well. It's not a bad sound. It is a section sound, and I'm not so wild about that. But I think let's maybe just leave that. Yeah, we can swap between bass or contrabasses as we need. Maybe we'll even find a nicer bass sound later once we're really going in depth. Okay, so let's have a listen from the beginning. Hold on, we need to correct some things. That should be a G sharp. I need to go work on my jazz chords. And there's our full form. Okay, fine. Let's see about adding some melody line, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to add it in the first trumpet, which is the way that Elliot has done it as well. But it's a little far away from my chords. I want to be able to see my chords, so I'm going to hide some instruments. Let's go to the instruments panel, hide trumpet 2, 3, 4, trombones, all of you. And in fact, let's just get rid of all the saxes for now as well. And then I've just got trumpet. Let's take the guitar out. And even the drums, why not? And this can be quite a good way to work with these large scores where I just want to work on little small things at a time. I can hide the others that I don't need. Quite useful. Sometime it would be lovely to see MuseScore say, put those into a group that I can hide all the saxes together. I think that would be really wonderful for working with big scores, but grateful to have the ability to hide them for now anyway. And it means that they are not playing, even if they have sound on them, so you'll hear the guitar doesn't play. And that means that the playback engine is not having to play back any of these guitar, or if I had anything on the saxes, which just speeds things up with my computer a little bit, hopefully. All right, let's go. Add some trumpet. All right, there's our first 8 bars. Let's add some articulation as well. It needs some. Okay, let's hear our melody. Sure, I think that works. I think already the articulations are making a big difference to the melody. I'm a little unsure about this accent. Although that one sounds quite natural. That one less so. So maybe that's an orchestral accent that's a bit more hard and harsh than a big band kind of accent that we're looking for. All right, let's leave it there for today, and we'll come back next time and see about adding some closed voicing to this melody and maybe extending the melody and seeing what else we can do with it. And then we can see how best we can use MuseScore and the tools that we have to get as good a sound as possible. Bye for now.